Hi friends, Itheria here. I don't know if you guys know this, but I like to talk. I love sharing my thoughts and opinions on things, especially when I'm excited about those things, or if I'm really mad about them. But anyway, that was one of the main reasons I originally made this channel. I still remember wanting to talk about my thoughts and opinions about all of the Endwalker teasers, but feeling like I didn't really have an outlet for it, so I started making videos. Today, I want to use this outlet for a Netflix series I just finished watching and really want to talk about, Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone is based on a trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I'd like to think of these kinds of videos as like a watch club. So a group of people who all watch the same show or movie and then get together and talk about it. So I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions about the show in this video, and I hope that those of you who have watched it will do the same in the comments. Let's have a conversation about this show, just like a club would. If you haven't watched Shadow and Bone, you're still welcome here, but just know that there will be some spoilers. Anyway, with all of these explanations and disclaimers out of the way, let's talk about the show. I want to start by talking about the things I really liked about this series. Honestly, it has been a long time since I've been so enraptured by a fantasy series. I used to read so many fantasy novels in high school and even college, but unfortunately I sort of stopped or even lost interest as I grew older and became an adult with obligations. So it's really exciting and honestly special for me to feel the way that I do about this show. I think Shadow and Bone has really good world building. There are so many different cultures, and even though the story starts in Ravka, we're still exposed to people of other races and nationalities throughout the show. Not only does this make the world feel rich and real, but it's great for representation. The series includes many different cultures, and each one views things differently. The main character is named Alina Starkov, and her homeland, Ravka, is racist towards the countries it is at war with, which is honestly accurate to real life, unfortunately. And Ravka views Grisha, aka the magic users of this world, with disdain thanks to a class divide between Grisha and non-Grisha, whereas other cultures see being born as a Grisha as a blessing and have a good relationship with them. These types of details really help provide depth to the universe. Another part of the world building for any fantasy novel is magic. What kind of magic exists and how does it work? In Shadow and Bone, there is actually a distinction between magic and something called the small science. The small science is the innate ability the Grisha are born with. These abilities can be things like elemental powers, wind, water, fire, healing powers, powers over metals or minerals, and more. Meanwhile, actual magic in the story requires a cost, but one never knows what the cost is until it's too late. Actual magic is volatile and taboo and eats away at the user, often causing madness or even death. I think in most fantasy novels this would be considered dark magic, where the small science would just be called magic. Either way, I find the magic or the small science in this series to be quite interesting and relatively unique. I used to read dozens of fantasy novels every year when I was a teen or 20-something, which may be rookie numbers to some people, but I still have a fair bit of exposure to magic in stories. And while there may be some minor similarities to other stories that I've read, the small science still feels very creative and original to me. Healing magic or elemental magic may not sound all that unique, but I think it's the tailors and heartrenders especially who make the magic of this world feel so original. Tailors are able to make changes to the body. Although not as capable as healers, it does allow them to heal people to some extent.
You're a healer. I am a tailor.
It also allows them to change people's appearances. They're kind of like magical plastic surgeons and makeup artists. Heartrenders, on the other hand, can detect people's heartbeats and can also control their hearts. As such, they have a variety of skills, from being able to sense when enemies are nearby to killing them by literally stopping their hearts. But they can save people as well. They can speed up a heart that is slowing down, effectively staving off death. They can save people from hypothermia or anything else that might slow a heartbeat. And if someone's heart has stopped, but it hasn't been longer than 2 minutes, they can bring them back to life. It's powers like these that make the quote-unquote magic of this fantasy world feel unique and different, and I honestly plan to read the books just to learn more about how the magic works. Next, I want to talk about the inclusion of the crows into the series. The characters Kaz, Inej, Jesper, Nina, and Wylan are originally from a different set of novels called The Six of Crows, which is set in the same universe as Shadow and Bone. Canonically, these novels take place after the events that unfold in Shadow and Bone. However, Netflix made the decision to write these characters into the current story, and they actually help move the plot along as they become intertwined with the main character and her goals in different ways. I absolutely love the decision to include these characters because they are honestly some of the most interesting and fun characters to watch in the show. They are criminals who are essentially trying to gain dominance over the underbelly of their city, Ketterdam. One of them is also trying to get revenge on a rival slumlord. These characters just bring so much pizzazz to the story. Each one has a very unique and honed skill set, and together they are just so fun to watch. They easily have some of the best action scenes in the show, and really keep you on the edge of your seat. While I find the magic in the show to be interesting, some of the magical fight scenes just aren't nearly as good as the actual hand-to-hand combat scenes we see with characters like Inej. Alina's fight scenes, for example, do feel a bit lacking in comparison. I also think that this group of ragtag thieves provides relief from Alina. More on that soon. Some amount of comic relief.
Jesper, grab the goat. I'm not throwing out the goat! Grab the damn goat! It's not bait, it's for you! I need you to calm down. Hug the goat. Shut the hell up.
But also great action and suspense. They also bring my favorite love story in the show ever, that between Nina, a Grisha, and Matthias, a Grisha hunter. I am so invested in their story, and I was really sad that season 2 only touched on it briefly from time to time, and really didn't give it as much, time and energy as I felt that season 1 had given it. And since we're talking about romance, let's finally move on to the main character, Alina Starkov, and her romance, and how I feel about her. Despite being the main character, she's not really the most fun or interesting to watch. Yes, I still do want to know some of what's going on with her, but that is often thanks to what is happening to her, not what she is doing or choosing to do. What makes her interesting is her battle with Kirigan and the ways that Kirigan is fighting against her, not her actual personality, romance, or really much of anything about her. I've had a lot of trouble putting my finger on why I don't like Alina very much and why I feel like her romance scenes are lacking, but to some degree, I think I'm supposed to feel that way. I don't think Alina is meant to be a character that you like a lot. According to Google, Alina is only 17 in the Shadow and Bone book series. I'm not sure how old she's supposed to be in the Netflix version, but if she's not 17, I doubt she's any older than like 23 or 24. She seems very young and she acts very naive, foolish, and immature. Kirigan even calls her these things, and he's not wrong. In season 1, I found these aspects of her to be understandable. She's an orphan who grew up without any true parental figure to guide her or give her wisdom. She's been best friends with Mal her whole life, but that relationship had not been romantic, and they were apart for some time due to them being in different sections of the army. He was a soldier and she was a mapmaker. Couple that with the fact that she is half Shu and constantly on the receiving end of racist remarks.
The fold looks different on mine. I need to get a better view from your country.
And it's safe to assume that Alina has never had a romantic relationship before. When she finds out she's the Sun Summoner, a Grisha, and is taken to the little palace to be trained and protected, she feels lost, confused, and alone. She has to face the pressure of people worshipping her and having high expectations of her because they believe she will destroy the fold, which is a scary wall made of shadow and full of monsters, and traversing through it is incredibly dangerous.
Why are you here eating figs? You should be training every waking moment to tear down the fold.
Alina also has to deal with people hating her for her race, being jealous of her, and some even wanting to kill her because they have political motivations that make them want the fold to remain standing. All of this is dropped on her all at once, and when she tries to reach out to her best friend through letters, she never gets a reply. She's already vulnerable and lonely, and this lack of response, along with people around her doubting Mal,
Plan to run away together.
You had plans, perhaps he never did, because where is he now?
I don't know.
as well as the literal manipulation from Kirigan, leads her to believe that her friend abandoned her. I think this is a very understandable response, so this isn't what I'm holding against her character. But in Season 2, Alina has realized Kirigan's true colors and has set her sights on defeating him. We get Kirigan's backstory and he even explains some of it to her. He tells her about his motivations and what he believes.
Perhaps now you're getting an inkling of what it's like to be hunted. But you still have no idea what it means to fake countless deaths, to have to reinvent yourself after every rebirth, to lose every loved one to sickness, desperation, hate, and time.
And though she has a right to question his methods, she isn't that much better than him. She views his use of something called Murzost to create shadow monsters as a bad thing because those monsters kill and maim people and cannot be defeated without a special weapon. Yet while she views his use of Murzost as evil, she considers using it herself to create something that could combat Kirigan's shadow monsters. She wants to do this despite being taught that using Murzost is extremely dangerous, and despite warnings from Kirigan's own mother, Baghra.
If I made an army similar to his, only of light, then...
To create such a thing, you'd have to use Murzost. Foolish. Swear to me you'll never use it.
I swear.
Mean it, girl. Murzost creates matter where there was none before. It is magic. It's not the small science. You will not know what price it demands until it is too late.
Alina ultimately does not use Murzost to create creatures to fight Kirigan's shadow monsters, but we have seen that the temptation was there. If not for the influence of people around her that she trusts, I do think she would have used Murzost. And finally, when she feels that her best friend Mal will die, she does use it. She uses this taboo magic, real magic with a cost, not the small science, to save Mal's life. In Season 2, we don't get to see what the cost was, but my guess is that it has corrupted her in some way, because in the final moments of the show, she's able to summon shadow and kill someone with it, and she gives a slight smile after doing so. It felt unfair for Kirigan to apply his own experiences to Alina, saying that if only she experienced things similar to him, she would walk down the same path. Everyone is different, so you can't assume someone else will handle loss the same way that you will. However, it feels like Kirigan may have been right about Alina. She is tempted by power, and her sense of right and wrong is easily clouded, especially when it comes to saving the people she loves. In these ways, she's very similar to Kirigan, and it will be interesting to see how much of his path she walks down. Perhaps in Season 3, if she has some sort of evil awakening, she will be more interesting and complex than she was in Seasons 1 and 2. Though it's hard to figure out exactly, I think the reason I didn't especially like Alina's character was a few things. First, she seemed a bit thoughtless. Like she would rush into things and do things that didn't feel very smart or well thought out, and even Mal points this out when they have an argument in Season 2.
I had to pay him back.
By what? Putting yourself at risk? Alina, I'm going to the ends of the earth to protect you, to keep you safe, to track your Firebird, and you dive headfirst into a fight with the Darkling.
Secondly, she's kind of a hypocrite. She condemns Kirigan for doing things that she also considers doing and eventually does do. When she has a problem, instead of trying to find safe ways to solve it or people who can help her solve it, she's quick to turn to what she sees as an easy solution.
If I made an army similar to his, only of light,
aka the dangerous taboo magic that shouldn't be done because it comes at a heavy price. It seems that she somehow thinks that it's okay for her to do it because she's good and Kirigan isn't? Perhaps she thinks the price won't be bad for her because she is good. This is where her naivety becomes frustrating rather than understandable. I also felt like Alina's relationship with Mal was kind of a snooze fest. The other relationships, Nina and Matthias, Kaz and Nej, Jesper and Wylan, felt so much more intriguing and complex. But I think perhaps what bothered me the most about Alina and Mal's relationship was that they never really seemed equal. Though it made sense for Alina to give up on Mal in Season 1, it still stings. While he's out there trying to get back to her, getting shot, his friends being killed, she's making out with General Kirigan. In Season 2, she's doing whatever she wants and Mal is just kind of going with it.
Stag, Sea Whip, Firebird, Engagement, Second Army. I can barely keep up.
His life is basically all about her, but hers is not all about him. And in general, I don't believe that your life should be all about your partner, but I'm just saying there's not really balance here. He has always been completely faithful to her and has never even considered other women. And though I get why she gave up on Mal, well, still, he never gave up on her. Not to mention that she has way too much tension with other male characters. It's totally fine for her to find friendship with Prince Nikolai, but every time they have scenes together, I get uncomfortable because it feels like there's too much chemistry there. Logically, I know it's okay for her to be friends with other men and hug them, but something always just felt off. Like I was just waiting for her to cheat on Mal for some reason. Maybe it was the way the scenes were shot, but I often got the feeling that Mal was kind of too good for Alina because he was always putting her first, and the same couldn't be said for her, even if it made sense why she couldn't put him first, since she was the only person with the type of magic that can save the country. Either way, their relationship definitely left something to be desired, especially compared to the other relationships in the show. Kaz and Inej don't even get anywhere with their relationship, but it's still far more interesting because you know they both harbor hidden feelings, and you feel all the more offended when Kaz pushes her away or tries to act like he doesn't care about her. And their relationship always has you trying to puzzle out, why is he pushing her away? Why isn't he saying what he actually wants to say, what he feels? Why are neither of them bringing it up? You get to learn these reasons as the story progresses, but my point is, the fact that you're even thinking about it all makes it more interesting than Alina and Mal. Sorry. And those were kind of all of the things that I wanted to talk about today. And even though we're kind of ending on a negative note here, talking about how I don't love the main character and didn't find her love story engaging, I still really adored this TV series. It was incredibly fun to watch, and I think it had really great cinematography overall. There were so many moments that had me on the edge of my seat or covering my eyes, but still looking through the cracks of my fingers, and the fight scenes were honestly top tier. This show has action, adventure, magic, romance, even if you have to get it from the side characters, drama, suspense, and of course a bit of humor. Shadow and Bone has definitely rekindled my excitement for the fantasy genre, and I can't wait for season 3. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. If you have, go ahead and leave some of your thoughts about it in the comments. Who is your favorite character? Were there any favorite moments in the story? Whatever you've been dying to share, do so in the comments. As always, please consider leaving a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!